I not given you everything that you wanted? A chance to go back to see your father.
Nora.
To run with the Flash. No! This is your legacy. Another broken family.
The Flash. All new episodes return Tuesday, January 15th on the CW.
Hey guys, Ben here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash Season 5. Finally, we're back talking about The Flash after this week's crazy week to do with the Elseworlds crossover. It was so good, I loved it so much. I still am going to be doing a video on the end credit scene of the actual crossover, which teases Crisis on Infinite Earths in the next crossover. So we've got so much to talk about in regards to that, but we'll do that tomorrow. Today, The Flash takes priority. Also, I'll have a Supergirl trailer breakdown for episode 10 as well, probably tomorrow or maybe the next day. But these trailers were dropped last night after Elseworlds, and I feel like it got swamped under all the crossover stuff because no one was talking about it, and I didn't realize until a few hours ago from when I'm recording this. And so yeah, let's talk about this because this trailer is really good. This really gets me excited because I loved the 100th episode. I loved how it ended with the Nora twist with Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne in the future in 2049, and this trailer teases a lot more. So if you do go on to enjoy the video, please be sure to leave a like and a comment, and subscribe if you're new so you don't miss any DC TV videos later this year. So we're currently on the mid-season break after last night's Elseworlds crossover finale episode on Arrow, and so we don't have The Flash, I think, until January the 15th. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly certain that is the date. So it's actually not that far away. If it's December 12th right now, we've got, just until the end of December and then 15 days. So not too long, considering like the summer break is extremely long. So I don't think there's going to be a complete lack of content, so please be sure to stick around, turn on notifications to not miss anything over the mid-season break. So let's break this trailer down shot by shot and talk about the voice overlay and everything that's going on. So the first shot of the trailer shows Nora, and we'll talk about the voice overlay as we head on, but you get to hear Reverse Flash in the future say, "Have I not given you everything you want? A chance to go back and see your father, to run with the Flash." And then we'll talk about the other line later in this. So the first shot, like I mentioned, is Nora sort of just cleaning herself after she's run around the speed lab, and this just sort of teases the idea of her interactions in this episode, because I feel like it's going to be a bit more awkward because she has obviously been back and forth in the future, and Sherlock knows a lot right now. He's decoded some of the symbols. He knows that it actually means the timeline is malleable. So has he told everyone? We don't know, but it seems like later in this trailer Barry actually shouts out Nora, and Barry's locked in the pipeline later, so I think they're going to find out about Nora's twist in this episode, but we'll have to wait and see. So the next shot in the trailer is of Barry and Ralph, and they're on the ground. They've been knocked down by something, but then we move on to a really interesting shot. So we're in the future. Not sure what specific time. It seems like it's pretty soon in the future, but after 2024, after that Crisis event. And so you see a young Nora Allen reading a Flash comic book, which is really awesome. That's a nice Easter egg, and holding a Flash figure, most likely with the future Flash suit. It looks like it's our Flash that she is actually holding, so pretty similar. But again, we move on to the next shot, and it's very similar in the surroundings, and it seemingly looks like Iris and Barry potentially are going to the future in this episode. And this is backed up by later in the trailer when we actually get to see Iris in the Flash Museum in the future. You can see she's in the villain section of the Flash Museum in the future. So is this her actually time traveling, or is this actually future Iris? She doesn't look very old, so I'm presuming it's our Iris. So, what's going on right here? Are they actually going to time travel? It seems to be like a time travel heavy episode, so I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really counting on the fact that they're probably going to time travel in this episode, because Iris would look a lot older, really. If it's maybe like 2030, maybe late 2020, so she would have aged, and she seems a bit too young So now we move on to the next shot, and this is of Barry. He's on the ground. You can see Central City Times next to him, and I think this is a similar point to which Barry and Ralph actually get knocked down, so we'll have to wait and see. But we get to see Barry locked in the pipeline, and there is a looming figure right next to him. So this actually looks like Nora, and so the next shot after this is Nora sort of looking up very menacingly, and you can see the shadow of the Flash. So he's shot from behind, and it looks like there's glass in front of him, so Nora has most likely knocked him down and put him in the pipeline. So I'm guessing the reveal is going to happen in this episode. It definitely seems like it is. Like, why would she be locking him up and actually showing her face? And then so we move on to the next shot, and this is of her Speed Force diary, or a Speed Force diary. I don't know, it looks pretty thin, so maybe it's Sherlock actually writing this out. But you get to see some crossing out in it, so I'm guessing someone's trying to do calculations in order to actually find out what's going on, or maybe it is in fact Nora, or maybe Eobard Thawne writing it down, and that's how they do it. I don't know. I think it's kind of hard to inspect something when you actually don't know what half of it means. So then we move on to the money shot of the trailer, and this is where we see Eobard Thawne from 2049 in that same suit that we saw him in the 100th episode ending scene, and he says to Nora, "A chance to go back and see your father, to run with the Flash." So in this trailer it's revealed that he is the mastermind. He has been able to give Nora everything she wants, whether that's aiding her in a physical way, like he's actually trained her, or he has some sort of device in order to maybe get time wraiths off so she can time travel perfectly, do all this stuff, maybe reverse time. Maybe that's a link to the negative Speed Force, like if she can reverse time, is that to do with the Reverse Flash? That would make sense. And so he is in fact the mastermind behind everything and every little change Nora has done this season and last season as well. So she has been working with him this entire way, and this utterly confirms that he is the main mastermind behind everything that's happening. And so we move on, and you get to see Ralph and Barry once again, and they are running away from something. They're sort of just scouring over the ground, so I don't know what's going on there. But we go back to the future shot, and you get to see Nora as she looks up in a very sort of terrified way, or just melancholic way, as she looks at the Reverse Flash, because you can see the shoulder of the Reverse Flash actually blurred out because they're shooting from over the shoulder, so that's definitely him. So he's provoked a strong response from her. And we go back to the Flash Museum, and you get to see the newspaper article, "Flash Missing, Vanishes in Crisis." And how I can tell this is the Flash Museum is due to the red cups from behind. I think it's the same room where young Nora actually is, but to the iris shot that I mentioned earlier. So she's most likely going to be time traveling in this episode, because that does not look like an older Iris. So maybe that's just the CW not putting makeup on her or anything, but still, I don't think this is future Iris. I do think this is maybe her and Barry time traveling in the future. I could be completely wrong, so take that with a grain of salt. But we move on, and we see Cisco, and Cisco is actually wearing some sort of goggles, so he's trying to do something, and we can see what looks like Sherlock, but we can't totally see if it's actually him. But this person is definitely analyzing the symbols, and so Sherlock's most likely written down all the symbols that he could, and he's trying to, you know, sift through and see all the messages, and maybe this results in them finding out about the Reverse Flash in the future, and the fact that she's actually, you know, betrayed them of sorts, because she's been told what to do by Eobard Thawne, the Flash's greatest enemy, so they're not going to trust her after they find out. And so we move on, and the Flash is seen in the street. All of these shots are very, very similar, and you get to see him, and most likely you can see Ralph just blurred out on the left. There is a gun on the ground, and on the right you get to and on the right next to the bin is Nora. So at this point they're all working together, so I don't know if the Flash and Ralph scenes are actually in the future, but Nora's still there. Nora hasn't locked Barry up or anything, but you can see Cicada in the far distance as he comes to most likely kill them. So that is essentially it. So the last line of dialogue that was spoken in this trailer by Eobard Thawne is, this is your legacy, another broken family. And I think this is sort of teasing the idea of actually Barry's family legacy is like, because obviously Eobard Thawne goes back and kills Nora, and then he knows obviously if he's from the future about Zoom killing his dad, and you know, his family legacy is very, very broken. And so he talks about Nora, most likely his legacy, like as a family, like is going to be broken even further if she maybe reveals anything, or she does something that Eobard Thawne doesn't want Barry in the present to actually know. So we don't know his true intent right now, that being future Eobard Thawne, but for now we know he's a mastermind, he is helping Nora, he specifically told her to do these things, and he's the one giving her the chance to go back and see her father, to run with the Flash. Maybe he was the one to actually find out about her speed. Maybe he told her about the chip inside of her, that she can actually use her Speed Force powers, but he knew and maybe trained her. So I do think that's a high possibility. So we'll wait to see as to what's going on exactly with him. But for now, I'm so excited. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.
It doesn't make us strong, it doesn't make us weak. Tongue tied to service like sharp